of coffee. And yes, that is a Joker coffee mug. You jelly? Yeah, you gel. Hey, what's up, sluts? Joker here, and welcome to a brand new series I wanted to try out for you guys where I do Nvidia driver reviews. This is something I've not really seen on the internet. You might see updates and articles on websites like Tom's Hardware and Guru 3D and things like that, but I have not really seen any consistent video reviews where they look at video driver updates. And I think it's something that's worth looking at because there are some pretty drastic changes that happen from time to time between different driver versions. Sometimes there's beta drivers that come out that test out new things. Back in May or April, there was a massive beta driver that came out that introduced DirectX 12 support and pretty much killed Mantle in just about every single benchmark across the board with just a mere driver update. So there are things constantly changing in the gaming space on the PC with driver updates, and this is going to be focusing only on Nvidia because I don't own AMD cards. So if you are an AMD user, I'm sorry. This series is not going to be for you. And we'll see how the series goes, and we'll see what the response is. So please click the like button below if you like it, dislike if you disliked it, and leave a comment. Let me know what you think of the series so I know whether or not I should continue with this. And you're going to see me looking down at my notes here from time to time because there's a lot of information about these drivers, and you know, I can't remember all of it off the top of my head. I'm a pretty smart guy, but I'm no genius, okay? I'm no Bill Gates. And also, all of this information is, of course, available at Geforce.com, which is where you can get the drivers. You can also get them at Nvidia.com, or you can automatically update through the Geforce Experience if you have that installed on your computer. Alright, so a lot of the features that are coming out of this latest driver, which is 340.52, that's a WHQL driver. And what a WHQL driver is, that basically means that it is a full driver release. It's not a beta driver. I honestly have no clue what WHQL stands for. I've never took the time to look it up. If you know what it is, tell me down below, because I'd like to know. But basically, Nvidia has two types of drivers. There's beta drivers, and then there's WHQL drivers. They usually put out a beta driver, and they'll test it for, 1 to 3 weeks, maybe even longer sometimes. If we're that unfortunate, we have to wait months for a new driver. But then eventually they'll finally, get it working just the way they want, and they'll maybe add a few more Sli profiles, and then they'll roll out the WHQL. And that's what we've gotten in 340.52. And the reason I wanted to start doing this series based on this driver was because I was absolutely blown away with the performance that I've been getting on this particular driver set. I usually run 1 or 2 benchmarks with every single driver that comes out just to see, if the performance is going up, going down. And honestly, for a good long while, I had seen my performance kind of declining a little bit. And I wasn't sure if it was the drivers or my PC, but it was fluctuating. So it was down, it was up, but I had never broken my top score. My top scores I had gotten about 4 or 5 months ago. I honestly don't remember what driver it was, but with my overclock and everything, I had gotten my best scores yet, and I hadn't come close to them since. And with this latest driver, with my extra displays turned off and all background programs closed down, which is how I run benchmarks, I have beaten every single benchmark score that I've ever ran. If that's not a selling point as to why you should update to 340.52, I don't know what else is. There are a lot of people out there that don't like to update their drivers, which I really don't get. There's some people just like, well, these drivers work fine for me, so I'm not going to update. I'm like, I don't get it. Explain this to me. If you're one of these people, please explain the logic that to me. I guess if it's broke, don't fix it. But you know what? Sometimes you could just make something better. You could have a computer with 1 GTX 760 in it, and it could work great. But guess what? If it had 2, it would be better. So you can make something better. It's not, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. It's, if it ain't broke, make it fucking better. And that's what this driver has done. It has made it better. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump in and see what features they've added with this latest driver update. First off, they've added in game stream support for the new Nvidia Shield tablet, which they just announced earlier this week. In case you don't know what that is, it's a brand new tablet come out from Nvidia, which you can stream games directly to from your PC, and you can use a wireless controller, or you can also just use it as a tablet. Personally, I have absolutely no use for this device whatsoever. I don't know who it's being marketed towards. Console gamers, they play on console. PC gamers play on PC. and I really have never heard of a quote-unquote tablet gamer. I really don't get the Nvidia Shield. I think all of their effort that they're putting into this whole platform is just wasted. It's just wasted resources that could be better spent on putting out newer graphics cards or better drivers and more frequent driver updates, because they've kind of been lacking in the past year as far as SLI profiles particularly. They've been taking far too long to get them out. But also, as far as features for this driver goes, they're also saying that they promise that this is the driver that you need for the best possible performance on the Metro Redux that's coming up. If you don't know what that is, basically they're taking Metro 2033 and Metro Last Light and re-releasing them for the next-gen consoles mostly, but also on the PC, and they're updating the graphics a bit. Metro Last Light's probably not going to see that much of a change, but Metro 2033 will, because they're bringing it over to the Metro Last Light engine, so we should see a nice performance increase and some better visuals overall, because Last Light was a much more optimized engine compared to what the Metro 2033 engine was. And for one, I would like to play through Metro 2033 again, so I'm looking forward to that. But as far as Last Light's concerned, I probably won't play that one again. And also, as far as preferred performance based on a driver, they're also saying that this is the required driver for the Chinese release of Final Fantasy XIV, which is coming out pretty soon. But now to my favorite portion of any driver release are the SLI profiles. This is what I look forward to the most. I look forward to seeing what's been updated, what's been increased performance-wise, what new games are they putting out drivers for ahead of time, or what drivers profiles are they putting out finally for games that we've been waiting for forever, like Titanfall. What the fuck? Titanfall finally is getting an update for SLI support. Hopefully we'll get an Nvidia profile soon for that. Because I've been waiting since that game came out in March to actually play it, because it runs like dog shit with my cards, because I can't run both of them, and that game is completely unoptimized. I'm hoping that SLI will fix these issues, and I'll actually be able to play the game now and enjoy it stutter-free, and, because it is a decent game overall. It's not the greatest game ever, but it's decent, and I would like to actually play it, considering I spent a bunch of money on it. Alright, but now for the SLI profiles that they've gone ahead and added. Alright, they've added in the 3D Mark Skydiver Benchmark SLI profile. If you don't know what that is, if you're familiar with 3D Mark, which has like the Firestrike Extreme, this is going to be a free add-on to that benchmark series. So if you already own the 3D Mark benchmark, then you're going to be getting the Skydiver benchmark for free, which is basically aimed at mid-range PCs and gaming laptops as a benchmark for your performance. So if you already own 3D Mark, then you're getting a free SLI update. You're getting a free update to that with the Skydiver benchmark, and the SLI profile is now available for that. And the Skydiver benchmark is coming out pretty soon, but there's no official release date yet. We have also seen an update for the Battlefield Hardline SLI profile, which may suggest that the beta is right around the corner. I know we've already had one beta, but they are saying there's going to be a second beta, so maybe it could be sooner than we thought. Based on the fact that Hardline has now been delayed until 2015, maybe there's the beta right around the corner, or maybe they're just releasing it to get ready for the game next year. Sometimes they do silly things like that and release SLI profiles ridiculously far in advance. And with Battlefield Hardline, it's not that much of a stretch they would do that, because it's the same exact engine as BF4, it's the same exact graphics as BF4. They really don't have to change anything. It's pretty much just copy and paste and change the executable. If you ever looked at SLI profiles, it's just lines of text. It's pretty simple. Even, pretty novice users can get in there and tweak stuff and add in their own executable so that they can make other SLI profiles work for other games. It's really not that hard to do. Coming up next is we have a Dark Souls 2 updated SLI profile where they have added in HBAO Plus support. If you don't know what HBAO Plus is, it's basically Nvidia's version of their ambient occlusion. The plus part is that it just basically adds some extra shadows to like the corners of the rooms, and just all the little cracks and crevices where you wouldn't expect to see shadows in a game, but in real life you would. Maybe you don't notice it, but it really just adds a better sense of realism as far as the lighting is concerned when you're moving around the space in the game. Coming up after that is Divinity Original Sin, which is a brand new RPG, top-down RPG It's 2-player co-op, so they finally put out an Sli profile for that. That's a fantastic game, by the way. That game's getting like 9 out of 10s everywhere. I started a co-op campaign yesterday with my buddy Kurt, and we're enjoying it, and it's a fantastic game. If you haven't checked it out, you definitely should. One thing worth noting about the Sli profile for this, which I really do not like, is that the only way to get the Sli profile is to have the Geforce Experience installed. Now, I have not installed the Geforce Experience until yesterday because I did not want Nvidia's bloatware on my computer, because I didn't need it for shadow play or recording, because I use DxTory when I do that, and I think it's better. And I also don't need a program to optimize my game's graphics options, because I know what graphics options are and I like to tweak those. That's one of my favorite things about PC gaming, is tweaking graphics options. Why would I want a program to do that for me? But with the advent of how they're now utilizing Sli profiles and sometimes putting them out a little bit earlier through the Geforce Experience rather than doing a full driver update, I felt like at this point it's basically become a necessity. Like, I've been strong-armed by Nvidia and Geforce to have their bloatware on my system. And I've disabled all of the, graphics options tweaking where they do it automatically and stuff like that. And it's actually not that big of a deal, and to be honest, after looking at it now, Geforce Experience is not that horrible. And if you're an Sli user, I would say it's almost a necessity at this point. Moving on. Finally, Elder Scrolls Online. Despite the fact that, in my opinion, that game is one of the biggest letdowns in history. It's a fucking massive piece of shit. It's finally gotten Sli support, so maybe you can finally get consistent frame rates in some of the crowded areas of that game, because when you go into the towns and stuff, that game frame rate just plummets. It just runs like shit. So I'm glad that they finally have an Sli profile for it. And maybe I might actually go back and check out the game if they ever remove the subscription fee, because I'm not paying the fucking $15 a month or whatever it is. And I'm sure with, the poor reviews it's gotten and everything, within inside of a year, that game will no longer have a subscription fee. It'll be a free-to-play where you'll just have to buy the base game, and then the subscription will be gone. That's my prediction. I have no factual basis to back that up. That's just my personal prediction based on what we've seen with other MMOs. So hopefully they do that soon, because I would actually like to get on there and play on it once they have the game fixed. And now that the Sli is out for it, kudos to them for finally getting out Sli support. Moving on, Grid Autosport, which was recently released, which honestly we should have had an Sli profile for this a lot sooner, because this, again, exact same engine as Grid 2. The graphics have not seen any significant improvements. It's the same exact engine. All they really had to do was copy over a different executable to the same Sli bits. But this is another one that you can only get right now through the Geforce Experience. So if you want the Sli profile for Grid Autosport, you have to download the Geforce Experience. Next up after that is Ludashi. I don't know, I'm as lost as you. I have no fucking clue what that game is. I have no clue. I'm probably going to Google it later, because I have no clue what the fuck Ludashi is. And last but not least, WildStar. They have updated 32-bit support on that. I've not tried that out myself, but I've heard it's been getting some good reviews. A lot of people are liking WildStar, so I might go ahead and take a look at it. And to finally round everything off, is the last subject on the list of everything, is the 3D vision support. They're constantly updating these things, changing what they have there as their rating system for 3D on certain games. And as far as Banished and Crater go, the 3D on there is now rated as good, whatever that means. And Bioshock Infinite Burial at Sea is now rated excellent. And that's going to end it for the notes right there. Actually, one more thing I wanted to say before we go. I was mentioning that this is the best benchmarks I've ever ran with this driver. I wanted to give you a couple scores just to give you an idea of what kind of increase I'm seeing. In Catzilla, which if you've never seen or never ran before, it's a fantastic benchmark. One of the most entertaining benchmarks to watch by far. You could download that at allbenchmark.com. There's a free version, but if you want to get the higher resolution versions like 1080p, 1440p, you will have to pay a little bit of money. I think it's $3 for the 1080p version, so you're really not breaking the bank there, and it is a fantastic benchmark. With this new driver, I'm actually now 53rd in the world for Catzilla at 1080p, and my friend Kurt, who I've mentioned before and in previous videos, running two GTX 690s. He is 9th in the world on Catzilla. Very, very impressive for him. But previously on Catzilla, I was getting a score of 22,644. I'm now getting 23,790, which might not sound like much, but based on previous drivers where I was seeing my numbers going down mostly, this is a great sign that the numbers are going back up. So these are great things, even though it might only sound like just a couple numbers. It really makes all the difference in the world. Fire Strike Extreme, I went from 84.58 to 84.80. Again, not a lot of points, but any increase or even staying the same is better than going down. That's what I like to say anyway. And then lastly, on Heaven Benchmark, probably one of the most popular benchmarks out there. My previous best score on my overclock was 111.7. I'm now up to 114.1. That is officially my highest score on that benchmark to date. Very, very proud of that. And that's on 1080p with all the extreme settings and everything. And my overclock, in case you're wondering, on my 780s, I've got plus 160 on the core, plus 300 on the memory. I've not touched the voltage at all. Just the core and the memory clock is it. So for the 340.52 driver review, it is fucking 2 thumbs up, aces all the way. If you are running Nvidia cards, go out and get this driver, especially if you're running SLI, get this driver because they've made some massive improvements in these benchmarks and some games there along the way. So once again, please like the video if you liked it, if you disliked it, leave a comment below and let me know what you thought. Also, you can follow me on Twitter and Facebook at Joker Slunt if you want to keep updated on everything going on. I'll catch y'all slunts next time. Ta fucking